Hey everyone. Working the night shift is already hard enough. The world's asleep, you're exhausted, and every sound feels louder in the quiet. But some people who work nights have experienced things that go way beyond just being tired or lonely. Things that made them question reality. Things that still haunt them years later. These are 4 true stories from people who work the night shift, and wish they hadn't. Let's begin. This story comes from a guy named Tyler, who was 21 at the time. It happened in the summer of 2018, in a small town in rural Missouri. Tyler had just graduated college and was working the graveyard shift at a 24-hour gas station to save money before moving to the city. The job was simple. Stock shelves, clean the bathroom, ring up the occasional customer. Most nights, nobody came in between midnight and 5 a.m. It was just Tyler, the fluorescent lights, and the hum of the refrigerators. He didn't mind it at first. It was easy money. He'd bring his laptop, watch movies, scroll through his phone. The only thing that bothered him was how isolated the place felt. The gas station sat right off a country highway, surrounded by fields and woods. The nearest house was probably 2 miles away. On his 3rd week, something changed. It was a Tuesday night. Around 1:30 in the morning, Tyler was behind the counter, half watching a video on his phone, when he heard the door chime. He looked up. A man had walked in. Tyler straightened up. "Hey, how's it going?" The man didn't respond. He just stood there, just inside the door, staring at Tyler. He was tall, maybe 6'3", wearing a dirty gray hoodie and jeans. His face was gaunt, pale, with dark circles under his eyes. And he wasn't blinking. Tyler felt a knot form in his stomach, but he forced a smile. "Can I help you find anything?" The man still didn't say anything. He just kept staring. After what felt like forever, the man finally moved. He walked slowly down one of the aisles, disappearing from view. Tyler let out a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding. Weird guy, he thought. Probably just high or something. He went back to his phone, but he couldn't focus. He kept glancing at the security monitor behind the counter. The camera showed the aisle where the man had gone. But Tyler couldn't see him. He leaned forward, squinting at the screen. The aisle was empty. Tyler frowned. Where did he go? He stood up and walked around the counter, looking down each aisle. Nothing. The store wasn't that big, just 4 aisles and a back storage room. There was no way the guy could have left without Tyler seeing him. But he was gone. Tyler checked the bathroom. Empty. Checked the storage room. Locked from the inside. The man had vanished. Tyler tried to convince himself the guy had just slipped out while he wasn't looking. But the door chime hadn't rung, and he would have seen him on the monitor. He went back behind the counter and tried to shake it off. But then, at 3 a.m., the door chimed again. Tyler looked up. It was the same man. Standing in the exact same spot. Staring at Tyler with those hollow, unblinking eyes. Tyler's heart started pounding. "Hey, were you just in here?" No response. The man walked down the same aisle as before. Slowly. Deliberately. Tyler watched him on the monitor. The man walked to the end of the aisle, and disappeared again. Tyler's hands were shaking now. He grabbed his phone and pulled up the non-emergency police number. He was about to call when he heard something. Footsteps. Coming from the storage room. But the storage room was locked. Tyler had checked it himself. The footsteps got louder. Closer. And then they stopped. Right outside the storage room door. Tyler stared at the door, his breath coming in short, shallow gasps. The door was just 10 feet away from him, separated from the main store by a thin wall. He waited. Nothing. Then, slowly, the door handle started to turn. Tyler didn't wait to see what came out. He ran. Straight out the front door, into the parking lot, and didn't stop until he was standing under the bright lights by the gas pumps. He called his manager, told him there was someone in the store, that he didn't feel safe. The manager sounded annoyed but said he'd come check it out. 20 minutes later, the manager arrived. They went inside together. The store was empty. The storage room was still locked. The security footage showed Tyler behind the counter, then suddenly running out of the store. But there was no one else on the cameras. No man in a gray hoodie. No one at all. The manager thought Tyler had freaked himself out. Told him to take the rest of the night off. But Tyler knew what he saw. And when he quit 2 days later, he didn't give a reason. He just left. Here's the thing that still keeps Tyler up at night. A few months after he quit, he was scrolling through local news and saw an article about the gas station. It had been robbed at gunpoint. The clerk on duty had been shot and killed. Tyler clicked on the article and read the details. The robbery happened at 3:15 a.m. The same time the man had appeared the second time. And when Tyler saw the security photo of the suspect, his blood ran cold. It was him. The man in the gray hoodie. But that wasn't the worst part. The article mentioned that the suspect had died in a police chase 2 hours after the robbery. His car had crashed into a tree at over 90 miles per hour. The date of the robbery? The same night Tyler had seen him. This story comes from a nurse named Jennifer. She was 34 at the time, and had been working night shifts at a hospital in Ohio for almost 10 years. Jennifer was used to the night shift. She'd seen people die, seen families grieve, dealt with confused patients wandering the halls. It was hard, but she was good at her job. And she didn't scare easily. But one night changed that. It was late October, around 2 in the morning. Jennifer was working the 4th floor, a long-term care wing where most of the patients were elderly and bedridden. It was a quiet floor. Not much happened. She was at the nurse's station, updating patient charts, when she heard something down the hall. Singing. Faint but clear. A woman's voice, soft and melodic, singing a lullaby. Jennifer looked up. The hallway was empty. All the patient rooms were dark except for the glow of monitors and night lights. She stood up and walked toward the sound. It was coming from the end of the hall. Room 427. Jennifer frowned. Mrs. Patterson was in that room. An 87-year-old woman with advanced dementia. She hadn't spoken in weeks. Jennifer pushed open the door quietly. Mrs. Patterson was asleep. Her breathing was steady, her eyes closed. But the singing continued. It was coming from the corner of the room. Jennifer's skin prickled. She flipped on the light. The room was empty. Just Mrs. Patterson in her bed, unforced and a chair. The singing stopped. Jennifer stood there for a moment, her heart pounding. She told herself it was just her imagination. Or maybe sound carrying from another room. She turned off the light and closed the door. But as she walked back to the nurse's station, she heard it again. This time, it was coming from a different room. Room 431. Jennifer stopped. She didn't want to check. But she had to. She walked to the door and looked through the small window. Inside, standing at the foot of the patient's bed, was a woman. She was wearing a white nightgown. Her hair was long and dark, hanging loose over her shoulders. And she was facing away from the door, looking down at the patient. Jennifer's breath caught. She didn't recognize the woman. Visitors weren't allowed this late. She opened the door. "Excuse me, visiting hours are..." The woman turned around. Her face was wrong. Pale. Too pale. Eyes sunken and black. Mouth stretched into a smile that was too wide. Jennifer stumbled backward. The woman tilted her head, still smiling, and then she was gone. Not walking away. Not moving. Just gone. Like she'd never been there. Jennifer ran back to the nurse's station and grabbed the phone. Her hands were shaking so badly she could barely dial security. A guard came up 10 minutes later. Jennifer told him what she saw. He checked the room. Nothing. Checked the security footage. The camera showed Jennifer walking up to the door, opening it, backing away, and running. But there was no woman. No one in the room except the sleeping patient. The guard gave Jennifer a sympathetic look. Long shift, huh? But Jennifer knew what she'd seen. She finished her shift, but she couldn't stop thinking about it. The woman's face. That smile. A week later, she was working the same floor when one of the other nurses mentioned something. You know room 431? That patient passed last night. Jennifer felt a chill. What happened? Natural causes. Peaceful, apparently. But here's the weird thing. The nurse lowered her voice. When they found her this morning, she was smiling. Like really smiling. The aides said they'd never seen her smile before. Jennifer didn't say anything. But she requested a transfer to the day's shift the next week. She never worked nights again. This story comes from a guy named Marcus, who was 26 and working as a forklift operator at a distribution warehouse in Texas. It was 2021, and Marcus had been working the overnight shift, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., for about 6 months. The warehouse was massive. Rows and rows of shelving units stacked 30 feet high, filled with pallets of products. During the day, the place was loud and busy. But at night, it was just Marcus and 2 other guys spread out across a building the size of 3 football fields. Most nights, Marcus didn't see his coworkers at all. He'd just drive his forklift up and down the aisles, moving pallets, listening to music through his headphones. It was lonely, but he didn't mind. Until he started noticing something. Someone was watching him. It started small. Just a feeling. That prickle on the back of your neck when you sense eyes on you. Marcus would turn around, scan the aisles, but there was never anyone there. He told himself it was nothing. The warehouse was creepy at night. Long shadows, strange echoes, the hum of machinery. It messed with your head. But then he started seeing movement. Out of the corner of his eye. Just a flicker. A shadow darting between the shelves. Marcus would stop the forklift, get out, and walk over to check. Nothing. It happened every night for a week. And then, one night, he saw it clearly. A figure. Standing at the end of an aisle, maybe 50 yards away. Marcus squinted. It looked like a man. Tall, thin, wearing dark clothes. Just standing there. Completely still. Hey! Marcus shouted. You're not supposed to be in this section. The figure didn't move. Marcus started walking toward him. Hey! I'm talking to you. The figure turned and walked away. Slowly. Calmly. Marcus broke into a jog, trying to catch up. But when he rounded the corner, the aisle was empty. He searched the area. Nothing. No one. Marcus radioed his supervisor. Hey, is anyone else working in Zone D tonight? Negative. Just you. Are you sure? I just saw someone. There's no one else on that side of the building, Marcus. You okay? Marcus didn't answer. He went back to work, but he kept his headphones off now. He wanted to hear if someone was nearby. At around 4 a.m., Marcus was stacking a pallet when he heard it. Footsteps. Heavy. Deliberate. Coming from the aisle behind him. Marcus spun around. The figure was there again. Closer this time. Maybe 20 feet away. And now Marcus could see his face. Except, he didn't have one. Where the face should have been, there was just darkness. A void. Like someone had cut a hole in reality. Marcus couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. The figure started walking toward him. Marcus finally snapped out of it and ran. He jumped on his forklift and drove straight to the break room, where the other two workers were. He told them what he saw. They thought he was messing with them at first, but when they saw how shaken he was, they agreed to stick together for the rest of the shift. The three of them stayed in the break room until sunrise. When Marcus came back the next night, his supervisor pulled him aside. "Hey, I checked the cameras from last night. Zone D. Around 4 a.m. Marcus's stomach dropped. "And? There's nothing on the footage, man. Just you. Working alone." Marcus quit that night. He didn't even finish his shift. But here's the thing. 2 months later, Marcus ran into one of the guys he used to work with. The guy told him the warehouse had shut down. Some kind of accident. A worker had fallen from a forklift in Zone D, 30-foot drop. Died instantly. The weird part? It happened at 4 a.m. And the guy had been working alone. But when they found him, his eyes were wide open, staring at something. And on the security footage right before he fell, he suddenly turned his head. Like he saw something. Then he just stepped off. This last story comes from a woman named Amy, who was a 911 dispatcher. She was 29 at the time, working the night shift in a small county in upstate New York. The job was stressful, taking emergency calls, coordinating first responders, staying calm while people panicked on the other end of the line. Amy had been doing it for 5 years. She'd heard everything. Domestic violence, heart attacks, car accidents, suicide calls. It took a toll, but she was good at compartmentalizing. At staying professional. But one call broke through all of that. It came in at 2:43 a.m. on a cold night in January 2020. Amy answered. 911, what's your emergency? There was silence on the other end. But not dead silence. Amy could hear breathing. Slow and raspy. Hello? This is 911. Can you hear me? More breathing. And then, finally, a voice. Help me. It was a woman. Her voice was weak, trembling. Okay, ma'am, I'm here to help. What's your emergency? I don't know where I am. Amy frowned. You don't know where you are? Are you hurt? I think I'm dead. Amy's stomach tightened. Psych calls weren't uncommon, but something about this woman's voice felt different. She sounded genuinely confused. Scared. Ma'am, you're not dead. You're talking to me right now. Can you tell me what happened? Are you injured? I was in my car. I was driving. And then, I don't remember. It's so dark. I can't see anything. Amy pulled up the call tracking system. The number showed up as a cell phone, but there was no location data. That was strange. Cell calls usually pinged a tower. Okay, stay calm. Can you describe where you are? Are you inside? Outside? I don't know. It's just dark. Cold. I can't move. Amy typed notes into the system and radioed for officers to start canvassing nearby roads. Possible stranded motorist, no location. Ma'am, I need you to stay on the line with me, okay? We're going to find you. The woman's breathing got faster. Panicked. I'm scared. I don't want to be alone. You're not alone. I'm right here with you. What's your name? Sarah. My name is Sarah. Okay, Sarah. I'm Amy. You're going to be okay. Can you feel your phone? Can you try to turn on the flashlight? There was a long pause. Then Sarah's voice came back, quieter now. I can't. My hands, they're not working. Amy's chest tightened. Are you in pain, Sarah? No. I can't feel anything. Amy kept her talking, kept her calm, while police searched. But after 20 minutes, they still hadn't found anything. No car on the side of the road. No accidents reported. And then Sarah said something that made Amy's blood run cold. Amy, do you think people can call from the other side? What do you mean? I think I remember now. The crash. The tree. I think I died. Amy's hands started shaking. Sarah, you're still talking to me. You're alive. We're going to find you. But Sarah's voice was fading. Thank you for staying with me. I didn't want to be alone. Sarah, don't hang up. The line went dead. Amy immediately tried calling back. No answer. She gave the officers the number, had them run it through the system. It came back to a woman named Sarah Mitchell, age 32. But when they ran her name, they found something. Sarah Mitchell had died 3 years ago. Car accident. She'd hit a tree on a rural road during a snowstorm. Died on impact. Amy felt sick. She told herself it was a prank. Someone using a dead woman's phone. But the phone company confirmed the number had been disconnected for 3 years. Amy couldn't explain it. She told her supervisor, who brushed it off. But Amy knew what she'd heard. A few weeks later, out of morbid curiosity, Amy looked up the location where Sarah Mitchell had died. It was less than 5 miles from the dispatch center. And the accident had happened on the same date Amy received the call. January 15th. At 2:43 a.m. So there you have it. 4 true stories from people who work the night shift and experience things they'll never forget. Things that made them question what's real and what's not. The next time you're alone at night, working late, and you hear something you can't explain, just remember these stories. Which story scared you the most? The gas station, the hospital, the warehouse, or the 911 call? Comment below and subscribe for more true horror stories. Stay safe out there. And if you work nights, maybe keep the lights on. Until next time.